Last month, we had to cut down the body camera footage to show you the moment Singh is speaking his limited English, but appears to understand what that trooper is saying. Take a listen.
What would you like to do? Would you like to go to court, or would you like to just pay the fine?
Pay the fine. My first time in the
Is it your
already
first time?
in the 5 year in the no ticket.
No tickets?
Yeah.
I hate to be the first guy to write you a ticket, but
Full name, sir?
yes. This is the one that you'll take care of within 30 days, okay? And then just choose one of those options right there.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And this one right here is your inspection, okay?
Okay. Thank you, sir. They send the ticket in the no my credit.
I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand what
Maybe in the this my ticket in the my license.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many year?
Don't quote me on this. I think a ticket will stay anywhere from 5 to 7 years, depending on what state you're from. Anywhere for that long, okay? Okay. All
right. Welcome to the Golden Belt Buckle Podcast. Thank you for joining me. And as usual, if you like the content, I'd really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. It's an encouragement to me. And leave your comment down below. So we're going to talk about a major development in the Harjinder Singh case. It's been shown now that he does, in fact, speak English. Doesn't say much about whether he can read it, but there's been the body cam footage from the police officer that gave him the speeding ticket in New Mexico has been released. And it shows him, absolutely shows him conversing with the police officer, asking the police officer for clarification about his ticket, how long it's going to be on his license, and how he's going to pay for it. And he's got more than just a couple of words in English, right? It's not just broken English. He was actually having a conversation with the police officer. So this body cam footage, it's got some implications, some real implications, and it also raises some more questions. But the first thing it does, in my opinion, is it vindicates the police officer. In a couple of videos ago, I made a comment about the police officer himself may have been on blast from the federal government, right? They might have been, when they're putting pressure on New Mexico, they probably are asking about the state troopers department that he works for, and they were putting pressure on that police officer, right? So as far as I'm concerned, this video vindicates that police officer. He had no reason to administer an ELP test because the guy was speaking English just fine. So that's the first implication of this video of him speaking English. The second one, it leads us to the state of Washington, all right? And we're going to talk about California here as well. State of Washington. Actually, we'll talk about both. State of Washington and the state of California. Under federal law, every state has to administer the skills test in English. No interpreters. Has to be in English. Well, now that we know Harjinder Singh can speak English, it's not hard to know how it is he passed the road test in Washington. So, and even if he had to go, even if it was California he got his license in, it's not hard to figure out how he passed that test as well. He clearly had some knowledge on how to speak English. Whether he knew how to read it is a different story, and how much he knew how to read, right? So that's the second thing. And then that leads to the question, like if he failed the sign test, how did he, we know he knew how to speak English, but if he failed the sign test after the accident and he only got 1 out of 3, how did he pass that road test on that basis, right? We know that on a base level, being able to speak English, he can follow commands, right? But if he doesn't understand the signs that well, how did he pass the sign test? How did he pass the sign test as far as his license, and how did he do it during the skills test, I wonder? So that's a question that's unanswered in my mind, right? Maybe they trained him to the test, right? Maybe they took him around the route a million times, just like my instructor did with me, and basically trained us to the road test, right? Even though we couldn't really drive that well, we went around the test a million times till we got it right, because we already knew what route we were going to take, right? We knew what kind of back we were going to do. So there's that question. But then the next question is about the knowledge test. It's not directly tied to him speaking English, but it kind of is. right? Speaking English and reading English are two different things, but you might not be aware of this, but under the federal law says that you have to be able to speak English proficiently to drive a truck. It also says you got to read and speak English to drive a truck, to have a CDL license. You have to be able to converse with the public. You need to be able to talk to law enforcement, make entries into your logbook, that kind of thing. That's the law, right? But the law, it doesn't stop there. There's another section when it talks about the knowledge tests that states have the right to, I'm going to look at my computer, they have the right, the knowledge test may be administered in a foreign language provided no interpreter is used in administering the test. So on one hand, you got to be able to speak English and read English, but on the other hand, it blatantly leaves it up to the states as to how many languages they're going to allow the knowledge test to be done in. It doesn't have to be done in English. And even Florida does theirs in Spanish. Florida does they have an option for you to do your knowledge test in Spanish. So whether he got his license in Washington or California, they were both within their federal right to administer the test in whatever language they wanted, according to federal law. So now, Washington only allows 4 different languages. Punjabi isn't one of them. So assuming he could speak or read his own language, which, in his home village, I read there's a 40% illiteracy rate. So, but I'm assuming he can read Punjabi. It's not on there. So a question is, how did he pass the knowledge test in Washington? That's a question that I think needs to be answered. And then when it comes to California, if he did get his license in California originally, which I don't think he did, I don't think that's what anyone's claiming, they do offer the knowledge test in Punjabi. So at least in California, it's in both instances, because he could speak English and understand it, and because the knowledge test could be administered in a foreign language, and Punjabi is one of the ones that California adds, it's not hard to see how he would have got his CDL in California. Okay? It is a little more difficult to see how he got his CDL in Washington when we know from after the accident he couldn't read English, right? So how he got past that knowledge test hurdle in Washington is a question that has to be had. But in principle, there's a lot of accusations going back and forth right now between the federal government and these states. Federal government says you need to get in compliance. And at least in regard to the skills test and the administering of the knowledge test in foreign languages, I don't know what the states did wrong there. That sounds like a federal problem, and I'm sure it'll be fixed. It sounds like I wouldn't be shocked if this law is amended, right? When this all comes out in the wash, you're probably going to find the states are doing something wrong. You're going to find weaknesses in the Fed, and that's why Mr. Trump put the kibosh on CDLs for foreign workers. I think that's what I think that's accurate. So he's going to fix whatever holes there are in this. That's his scheme, right? So when this all comes out, but like I said, right now, I think they're trying to put blame on whoever, because there's going to be lawsuits, and this is a political football. Harjinder's he's a poster child for Mr. Trump's immigration policies now, right? So it is politically charged, right? And on an emotional level, it seems silly to me that anybody would give someone a CDL when they can't speak and read English, right? Because the signs on the road, a lot of them are written in English. A lot of them are just symbols, but a no U-turn, right? That's written in English, right? You see those signs. You've got writing on many different signs on the road that it's written in English, right? And many of the places you go to, I go to the landfill. I can't even imagine someone who can't speak English in a landfill, right? So Anyways, those are the questions, those are the answers, and that's the video. And very quickly, I'm just going to say I'm in a bit of a saucy mood today. I watched the news, and right before I record this video, and I saw what happened in Minneapolis, and I tell you what, the older I get, the more I realize why it is certain types of criminals don't last long in prison, right? And it's just a shame this person killed themselves before the police could arrest them. I would have no sympathy for this person. In fact, I don't even care that person wants to. I always see the comments, they're mentally ill, they're mentally ill. I don't care. You know, if I was the parent of the 8 and the 10-year-old that got killed, or the 22 other kids that got injured, I don't care about the guy's mental illness. You know, I put in a video a couple of days ago that one of the you know, we're talking about the cultural differences between Punjabi people and North Americans, and it was said they believe in being stoic, right? And you know, mental illness is a white person's problem. Well, maybe they're right, you know. So anyway, yeah, heart goes out to all you guys. If you're watching this, you're from Minneapolis. Don't know what to say. There's really no words you could give me if one of my kids was shot dead. So anyways, if you guys like the content, like and subscribe. It's a great encouragement. Till next time, keep the rubber side down. Cheers.